Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the Akai MPC Live 3, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Amen Brother Breaks writes in and asks if we can do auto sampling from the MPC Live 3 from the iPad or other external device and sample over USB-C. The answer is absolutely we can. So I've right now got USB-C here is plugged into the USB-C here. The thing that is important to know to get this to work is you have to have a USB host on this side, and that the MPC is a USB device over the USB-C connection here. What that effectively means is you need a computer, tablet, phone, or other device that has the drivers to mount audio and MIDI to be able to communicate over USB-C with this. So as far as the MPC is concerned, anything connected to here needs to be, I'll scare quote, smart, and have the device drivers to be able to mount things to get it to work. So to show you, I can use this grand piano and play. We can see we're getting audio, and it's not going anywhere because we can't hear it right now. And it's going over the USB-C here. Well, if I double tap sample edit to get into sampler, again, we can't see anything here on the monitor. The reason why is we need to set this to USB input 1 and 2. By default, that's going to be the one that's going to work. If you have AUM, you can route all the way up to inputs 23 and 24, and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. You get plenty of audio channels to work with, but for the purposes of this, we're just going to use USB inputs 1 and 2. We can see the audio, and to hear it, we just need to turn monitoring on. So now we can at least sample, right? We can go, and we can play this as much as we want. So that's the important part for audio, though we still need the MIDI to work. So I'm going to go discard this. We don't need that sample. I'm going to go main, and I'm going to go to new track. We're going to go MIDI, and by default, our MIDI output port is set to none, which means when we hit pads, nothing happens. The outputs, MIDI in and out on the back, are known as MPC A and B, and MPC 1 or A and B is for output, 1 and 2 is for input. Then you're going to have remote, and then you have USB MIDI port 1. And this is 1 or 2. You can use either one. I'm just going to use MIDI port 1. And the channel allows you to, again, with like AUM or something, you can do a whole bunch of routing. But I'm going to explain what the setting you want over here is. But I'm just going to set it to MIDI output channel 1. So you got channels 1 through 16. You got plenty to work with. And as long as you can get and see the articulations from tapping pads, and you can hear the audio, we can do the auto sampler to create a key group. So we got all the components working here. If you're not hearing anything work, I would just check, hit the little gear up here, and just make sure it says MIDI channel and it says either Omni or 1. Omni basically means it's going to accept MIDI on any port 1 through 16, and if not, if you want to have like specific channels because you have like you're using AUM or something and you want a very complicated set of instruments, you can totally do that. But I'm just going to say leave it at Omni. Works just fine. Now, to do the actual auto sampling for folks that don't know, if you want to figure out what your name is going to be, it's going to be MIDI 001, or just come in, hold on the tab and just edit it. And we can go, grand piano and click do it. Close. So now if we go auto sample, it's going to at least have grand piano in it so we would know what the heck this thing is. And you just basically want to go back to the sampler. So we're going to double tap. You've got this little keyboard with a plus. If you tap that, it's going to now say the track name is grand piano. It's going to record audio over USB input 1 and 2. It's going to send the MIDI from the current track that you're on. And it's going to start from C2 and go to C4 by default. Depending on what you're doing, you may want to extend that range. Like you could go all the way down to like C-2 if you wanted. Although personally, I'm usually like a C0 to maybe C5 kind of guy. Get like 5-ish octaves worth. A note stride, I usually go for 3. 6, it means that every octave you've only got 2 notes, so you can be stretching stuff a lot. You're going to stretch less, but use more memory, and it's going to take longer to auto sample here if you do that. Velocity levels are only important if, like, depending on how lightly you touch versus how hard you touch, and you're not getting that articulation on this keyboard right now, but it may actually matter from various levels here, because it may actually send a lower velocity into it. I've got like a Triton Studio keyboard that will play things backwards if it's below velocity 64 and forwards if it's over 64. So you can certainly get into like some reasons why you might want that, but I would just say under normal cases, just say play it at the maximum volume. And you can get up to 8 layers. The first thing here for note length is how long it's going to hold that note. So this is saying 3 seconds, and it's going to let go. And as long as it's done playing within a second, it'll be fine. I actually personally will customize this from sound to sound, but a thing to note, it's going to hold it for at least a second. I wish we could go smaller, like just a quick tap. Like, you're not going to get this kind of articulation with this grand piano, where it's like a 1/10 of a second hit. It's going to be 1, and then it's going to let go. So you're going to have to go do some work sometimes in your program to get things to line up the way you want. But for like this piano sound, let's say we think that it's about 2 seconds of reverb or other kind of natural decay of the sound. You might want the note length to be shorter and the tail to be longer. I would say like a synth sound, like a bass or like a bass note, you might want the note length to be sustained longer so that you can use your amplitude envelope to adjust kind of how it sounds as you're playing it. It all depends. So just stuff to think about. I almost always turn looping off because this just is a terrible algorithm. Akai really needs to fix the looping because it would be nice to allow you to hold it and get like your different sustain points. But instead it just randomly kind of picks from this time period to this time period and just drops it in. Not great. Auto trim start is nice because it will kind of make it so it's pulled back, paired back, and kind of remove a little bit of the sound, but still leave some in case you need to adjust your start point to get the right transients coming in. Anyway, with that, just click, do it, tap, do it, and you can hear it's just going through and playing the notes. And it's going to take 60 seconds to do the whole thing, but it's just going to go through, play each note, and record it into the buffer. And when it's done, you're going to have everything named and assigned correctly, and it's going to be able to be played as a key group on your MPC. And again, we're doing this all over USB-C here to USB-C, so there is no audio. There's no analog audio that might be creating extra sounds or anything. It is literally just the digital copy of whatever you have in here. So super powerful if you're looking to take your synth things that you've got on the road, or you just want to be able to do some additional creative sound design on your Akai MPC. Works quite well for getting that kind of stuff done. Beyond that, and I can kind of show you a few things, but you can hear like some of these are a second long, and then they got like 2 seconds on the tail that maybe doesn't have anything. It can be worth taking the time to trim this stuff up. So I'll just show you really quick. So we now have a new key group that says Grand Piano Auto Sampled. And it definitely sounds different than what we're playing over here. If we go back here, a couple things to note. There's no tail. There is. It recorded the tail. But as soon as I let go, it stops playing. Whereas you can hear there's like a little bit of reverb. So if you want to emulate what's going on here, there's a few things you might want to do. I'm going to tap menu and go to track edit. And if we go to amp envelope, you can see here it's just like a straight line up and down, which means when you release the pad, it immediately stops. So to fix this, you might, not key group all. You might want to take this release and make it so it's more than like 1.6 seconds. I don't want decay. Why is it doing this to me? Release is over here, 0.00 milliseconds. I'm going to set it to like, here you go. You start hearing like as you open it, get a little bit more of that tail. It just immediately, for like this particular instrument, sounds quite a bit more natural. But this will be adjusted to personal preference for what you want. I'm not going to be able to tell you what the best setting is here because it's going to vary from instrument to instrument and how you want it to sound. Like you may want that like immediate cut so it has a more like chopped, sliced, sampled sound. Where you're like if I was to do this back again, actually I should just go double tap it. There we go. I know I'm playing like totally terrible chords, but just trying to show you like you get a different sound here, like a different feel and sound. So definitely play around and see what makes sense for you. Beyond that, if you're looking to get effects on this, obviously like you kind of hear there's a bit of a reverb. It's simulating the body of the piano here. You might actually want to come in and go add in like a reverb effect. Now we have recorded some of that reverb, but if you put a reverb in here, you can kind of get some of that sound. Now this is like this sounds super wet to me, so you probably have to come in and do some of the editing here and say balances a lot lower. Oh, mix, sorry, not balance. And it's not going to sound exactly the same as what you have over here, but as you start playing around with like your wet and dry and like some of the balance settings, you're going to find that you like things, and it's going to obviously matter what you're playing in for your audio content. But anyway, super crash course on auto sampling and how to do it over USB-C and a few other topics. Hopefully this helps you out. Amen, brother breaks. Everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.